Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for joining in for another action-packed show. As in this week's episode, I'm joined by my co-host, Kristina Bloom, and we're going to be discussing the topic of the unexplained part 2. So first of all, I'd like to say welcome to Kristina Bloom. How are you? What have you been up to?
I'm fabulous. How are you? Oh, you know, the usual, seeing spirits, talking to Bigfoot, you know, all the normal stuff.
I was going to say, that was a very sinister laugh you had there. Well, it sounds very normal in your neck of the woods.
It's
nothing
great.
out of the ordinary there.
Yeah.
Just a normal day at the office.
There
You've
go.
been on your travels, I believe, as well.
I have. I actually got to go back to my hometown. So we did a, what do you call it? Body, Mind, Spirit Fair.
Oh, okay.
In a park.
Yeah.
It was outside. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Nice one.
And so, you know, reconnect with my people, reconnect with my home area. It was good. It was really nice. How about you?
Before I move on, did you try and source out your old graffiti that you did when you was a teenager on the walls and on the buildings and things like that? If it was your hometown.
I don't remember do that. I don't remember doing graffiti.
Oh, you've never.
I mean, I caused some havoc, but I don't remember graffiti.
For me, I've had
even if I did do it, I wouldn't admit it.
not on public property like this. So yeah, I had a wonderful weekend away. An ex-RAF base, which I went to and chilled out, met some friends there, performed there, which was wonderful, just what my heart and soul needed. Because I'm sure, well, we were saying it off air, every now and again, you just need time where you put the electronic devices down and just go, and not do anything, not think about anything, just be in the present. And although at the time, for the first hour or so, with trying to get some sort of internet signal out there in the woods was very frustrating. And then when I just relaxed into it and, you know, this is how it is, you deal with it, you know, you just got to be in the present. I was fine. It was just that first anxious hour of not having any internet signal, like being cut off from the world. But other than that, I think I needed it. So I had a great time. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I did notice on your photos. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, after you. Go for it.
I noticed on your photos that you were on a former military base. And I was watching a documentary on, I think it was Rendlesham. Is that right? Where they had a UFO thing.
Oh, okay.
In the 80s at an RAF base.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of rumors that there's more that goes on at these areas than, you know, what you're led to believe. What I saw was an abundance, as I said earlier, off air, of dragonflies. I've never seen so many in my entire life. And they were just buzzing around you like, you know, standard flies would. And it's like, what? So that was an unusual experience.
That is so cool.
But, you know, people may say, oh, did you pick up any spirits there, any ghosts or anything like that? And do you know what? When I go to these events, I put my protection up and I'm not there to do that line of work. And I kind of like, if I was to experience it, I would ignore it because it's time out time, if you know what I mean. And I'm in performing mode, so to speak. So, plus I'd be picking up all the vibrations of the people that are there as well. And I don't want that. I don't want to experience feeling bombarded. Yeah. So probably like yourself, if you're wanting to do that, then I would go on a separate occasion where I'm just focusing in on doing that alone. But anyway, we're going to crack on today. As we've said, We're talking about the unexplained part 2, and we've got lots to discuss that we didn't manage to fit in the unexplained part 1, haven't we there, Kristina?
Yeah, we sure do.
Okay, so
I'm so glad you're organized. Thank you.
I try to be.
Go ahead.
Bit haphazard. So I'd like to look at where we left off, and we was looking into atmospheric pressure and earth tone as well. And what is your experience of that? Have you had experience?
Well, with that atmospheric, why can't I say that word right now? Atmospheric pressure.
There you go.
A lot of that has to do with the barometer, and what the pressure is on the planet. And it's usually, when a storm is coming in, but it's not there yet, you have more pressure.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people get headaches from that.
Yeah.
Until it rains or whatever. But the thing that I've noticed with the earth tone is that in certain places you can hear the earth humming.
Oh,
I don't know
yes.
if you've ever
I
experienced
have.
that.
It's out of this, well, not out of this world, but it is for our day-to-day consciousness, isn't it?
Right. And I've never quite figured out what that is. Do you know what it is?
First of all, I mean, the experience I had, it was bizarre. It was like in the early hours of the morning when I was working in my old studio, and the floor shook. There was this deep noise that, because I was working in the studio, I thought, hang on, has one of my speakers blown or something like that? So I'm checking around all the equipment, but then the floor and everything is shaking as if a train has just gone by. There was no trains or railways near where I used to live. And so my sort of definition of that is my guides are telling me now that it's growing pains with Mother Earth, expansion, growing pains. And it causes a tone, emits a frequency for expansion and healing. And the note that I heard, it was like nothing else. It was very guttural. In fact, it felt quite frightening at the time, because it was like a I'll try and replicate it, but it was like a roar, but a low rumble roar. And like I say, it went through your physical body. You could feel it. It was like nothing I'd ever encountered before. And to me, it felt like a cleansing, although it was frightening at the same time. But I feel as though it's
tremors.
yeah. We don't experience them in the UK, so I wouldn't know that. But it was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, we recently actually had an earthquake in the Midwest, which is unusual. So yeah, it was actually in Lake Michigan, like under Lake Michigan. So, and we've talked about the Great Lakes before and how big they are.
Yeah.
It was in one of the Great Lakes. It was actually under it, about maybe a 2-hour drive from where I live. And I felt the vibration, but I don't know that everyone else would have, or most people would have, because I'm energy sensitive and I've lived on the West Coast, so I know what a tremor feels like.
Right.
So,
okay.
It was just a vibration for a few seconds, and I'm like, well, that was interesting. And then I found out later there was an earthquake 2 hours away. So
wow.
The earth is shifting and moving with the rest of us. I firmly believe that, the raising of the consciousness on the planet is raising everything, because everything is energy. It doesn't distinguish between human energy, bear energy, penguin energy, earthquake energy. Energy is energy, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
If the energy is raising on the planet, well, it's raising in the planet too. So
definitely. It was, yeah. I've never experienced it since. It was one of the weirdest things. The noise. I mean, I tried to emulate it, but very poorly. It was like nothing else. It's very strange.
There's definitely a noise. Yeah.
So let's
It's
move on.
different with the, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm
We-
listening.
Now, I'm no expert. I know nothing about this. So I'm completely relying on your wisdom with this one. And I'll be honest with that. And this is the Schumann, I believe that's how you say it, resonance.
Yes. Right. There's actually a Facebook page called the Schumann Resonance that I belong to, and
Okay.
the resonance, yeah, the resonance, from my understanding, is it's from the Earth. I thought it was like from a space thing, like we would get energy from space, but that's not it. It comes from the Earth, and is very, very interesting to me as I read about it. But there is a lot of it's based on hertz and sacred geometry, and
Okay.
it's just, yeah, there's a lot to it. And it's really interesting when you look at everything is always moving, right? So
Yeah.
we've got everything moving, we've got energy never sits still. So it's always moving, and the energy of Earth is increasing as everything is expanding. I was reading, gosh, when was it? Maybe a couple of years ago, where like the whole our whole galaxy, um, solar system, kind of shifted within the galaxy.
Okay.
It kind of moved, and right after that, it was more than 2 years ago, because right after that is when the pandemic hit. So there's so much that can be tied together. I don't know the specific science of it, but that thought intrigued me, because if our planet moved into a different part of the universe and we were exposed to other things, that would explain something like that. Maybe, I don't know for sure, but the Schumann resonance is, yeah, it fluctuates. I'm trying to find on their Facebook page, like, what is the normal resonance of the Earth.
I think you raised a very interesting point there when you spoke about sacred geometry and that these frequencies come from the earth. And that sort of made me go down this sort of tangent, really, in that the earth is surrounded by ley lines. And from what my guides have said, there's various ley lines that have been broken. And so that circuit, that energy is being diverted elsewhere. So, with this being said, would this potentially cause spikes in certain areas, worldwide, and also have some sort of bearing on the frequency changes with the Schumann resonance because of that?
I don't know for sure. I'm not an expert on it, but it makes sense to me that that would be the case. Cause and effect for everything, right? So, um, yeah.
I'm sure you experience this as well with your guides that they encourage you, they never tell you, but they encourage you to go to certain locations. And you think, why do you want me to go there? There's literally nothing there, nothing of any interest there. Why would you want me to go there? And then they won't tell you anything. They go quiet and they'll keep telling you you've got to go there. So you go to these locations. Anyway, whilst you're there, you think, I'll have a walk round, I'll have a look round. And as you're doing that, then your guides will tell you, well, actually, do you know the real reason why we've sent you here? Because you're repairing some ley lines in the grid of the earth and you're reconnecting those energies together just with your presence. Your energy is correcting those wrongs so that that energy can flow more fluidly in that area, and it will benefit one and all. And they've also said that you will be changing the vibration of that location as well by doing that, allowing that harmony to come in. So I don't know if you've had that before, but I get that quite a lot.
Wow. I don't know if I've had that specific thing or not. If I have, it's been a while. I do often get drawn to go somewhere and don't know why I'm there, or run into somebody, meet up with somebody. Either I know them or I don't know them, but there's a reason for the meeting. Yeah, I get that more often. I have been called in some cases to help heal the land in some areas,
Yeah.
clean up pollution,
Wow.
that kind of stuff, like polluted energy in the lands. Um, I'm just trying to think of, I feel like what you're describing I've done, but I can't remember any
Yeah,
specific
I'm
instances.
sure you would have done, because spirit,
Yeah.
you don't get away from doing that if you work with spirit.
No.
It's probably the fact that
No.
you did the work. Usually, this is how they've got me many times. They haven't even told me why I'm there. And it's only when I come back home that they then tell me. And, do you realize why you went there? Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. No, you was working. I wasn't working. I was having a weekend off. No, you was working. You was doing this behind the scenes. You would have felt our presence. So they certainly do encourage you. They never tell you what to do, but I'm sure you would have felt that yearning in your heart, that magnetic pull. Come rain or shine, I'm going to that location. I don't know why. And once you've been there, you feel calm, you feel settled, you feel complete. So
Yes.
yeah, the reason
Yes.
why I bring that up is I just wondered if it was if it relates to actually the Schumann resonance with creating those energy grids, those pathways there, completing those circuits. I just thought that on some level it
Yeah.
may sort of add to that harmonic frequency.
Yeah. Um, I'm sure that I have. The Schumann resonance is something that has had me fascinated for a while, probably because I don't fully understand it. I did want to go back to what you said about the broken ley lines.
Okay.
And that just brought up a question in my mind about, if there are broken ley lines, is that why we're having so many weird weather things going on the planet? So many more tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes and typhoons and all that sort of thing. And I'm wondering if the broken energy lines are gathering, the energy hits the end of the line. What does it do? Does it gather there like a pool and then something happens? Or I don't know. That's what popped into my head when you said that. And I was just
Okay.
questioning.
Yeah, my feeling with that, and I heard my guide step in and say, nope,
Nope.
very
Okay.
bluntly, nope. I feel what they mean by that, they're laughing, is it without going too deep, but a lot of the weather has been manipulated to the benefit of the, shall we say, the chosen few. Let's keep it upbeat.
Okay. Yeah.
In order to bring um, some form of lower based energy, chaotic emotions to those in that certain area, to keep that vibration at a certain frequency that
Right.
can be harvested without going deeper and deeper. But that's the inspiration I'm getting from my guides with that, in terms of these freak storms and the weather and things like that. With the ley lines, I'm just asking my guides now, when they are broken, what happens? They're saying on a similar level, you're on a similar tangent. The right thought is what they're saying, but it happens with substances such as the soil, the land, the buildings where it resides on, the people that reside in those buildings. It's going to have an effect on them, the way that they operate in life, the way that they think. It will lower their vibrations to a certain level, but to them, because they're used to it, it will just feel normal. But it's only when
Okay.
an outsider comes into that location that they will pick up that is out of disharmony to what they're used to in their location. I'm just asking my guides if there's anything else on this. Oh, right. They've just said yes. There's the potential for it opening up energetic portals. And this can
Okay.
also bring back, this is interesting, timelines from historic history to come into the present timeline to be replayed, almost like a movie. And so paranormal experiences will be witnessed in these areas with broken timelines. Wow.
That makes a
Okay.
lot of sense to me.
Yeah, they're just showing me
That
visually
really
these
resonates.
doorways opening up, and I'm feeling sick to the stomach with the energy, and it's almost as if there's spirits there that are trapped in that location that want to move over, that have been there for hundreds of years, that can't, because this sort of portal, this gateway, either is of a negative vibration and it's not allowing them to pass that level until those timelines are repaired. Something to do with harmonic frequency resonance is just what I've heard from my guides. Now, this is new to me. I've never heard this information before, so I'm just relaying back to you, parrot fashion, what I'm hearing from them.
I'm loving that. Yeah.
Quite surreal.
I didn't ask my guides when you were communicating with your guides because I wanted to hear specifically what your guides were saying. So
Wow, I've forgotten what they
that
said.
all makes a lot of sense. That's okay because it's recorded.
Yes, I can listen back. It's it's fascinating, isn't it? When we're open to receiving these energies and this information, sometimes I feel, probably yourself, that we're kept in a state of ignorance to a certain degree, because if we were to know everything, it would freak us out. And, we wouldn't want to proceed with life to the level that we're doing.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. Yeah. I've been following the Schumann resonance on social media, and it's something that fascinates me, partly because I don't fully understand it. But it just seems like when I'll see the notification maybe, 10, 12 hours after it's been posted sometimes. And with the information that's posted, I look back and go, okay, well, that just explained my whole day. Thank you very much. Because it really does affect the energy that we walk in. We're walking on the planet. If the planet's energy raises or falls, of course, we're going to notice that. We're energetic beings. So, sometimes I understand it more in the rearview mirror than I do in the windshield, so to speak.
Oh, I like that. Lovely way of putting it.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't know what we're looking at right away,
Yeah. Have to blend with that energy, adjust to it.
Yeah. I think that kind of really leads into the solar storms too, because in the physical world, of course, the laws of physics, we have cause and effect. And there have been so many solar storms this summer. It's unbelievable. And look at the number of, Aurora Borealis, the northern lights.
Yeah.
And the southern lights. It's called something else in the southern hemisphere, but it's the same thing. And so the sun is flaring. It's having we're having geomagnetic storms. Why was that so hard to say? I don't know. But the solar storms and the higher radiation that we have on the planet because of it, it's all related. It's got to all be related. And then, like you said, the engineered weather.
Yeah.
We have some northern states that rarely see tornadoes. And then we have some Midwestern states that are like Tornado Alley. They're actually called that, Tornado Alley, because there are so many tornadoes. This year, the northern states have had more specifically the Northeast states have had more tornadoes than Tornado Alley, the midsection of the country.
Wow.
And so it's like, why is that? Why is a state with the population like New York having tornadoes when they don't normally have tornadoes? There's tornadoes in the mountains. You can't tell me that's not engineered. Tornadoes don't naturally happen in mountains. The elevation's wrong. So it's very interesting.
Certainly is. And just talking about that, the Northern Lights, We encountered that in the UK, and this is something that we don't normally ever witness. And yet it was visible to the vast majority of the UK. And we've had that happen on 3 occasions this year so far in 2024. So there's certainly something happening, isn't there, behind the scenes for us to see it, whether the Earth has physically shifted on its axis or something so that we're able to witness it, or whether these solar storms are having some sort of effect, in the magnetic, shall we say, connection with the Earth, and it's creating these anomalies, visual anomalies, shall we call them? But it's interesting with the solar storms, with the energy, with the magnetic pulse of the Earth, that it has had an impact on electronic devices, and such as there's a lot of people in the UK that talk about the phone signals and the masts dropping out and losing that clear connection, with the mobile phones and the technology, the internet dropping out as well.
Right.
And so potentially that could have a bearing on what is happening, like you said, with the radiation, with the solar storms, and I suppose knocking or cancelling the lesser of the two vibrations out because of that. Also, these energies have a tendency to mess with cars as well, the brain units in cars. There's a lot of electronics within the car that malfunction because of it goes out of alignment, and also computers as well that store very important information, such as we've had in the UK, where the banks have gone down and people can't access their finances or at least see what they have in their account. Potentially, is this related? Who knows? I'm just throwing a few things that may be connected out there.
We've had that this summer too in the U.S., where
Okay.
bank systems have gone offline, and not just like one branch of bank. How do I say this? It's like, it wasn't just like Chase Bank. It was all different banks, all
Yeah.
different. I guess if they weren't banks, you'd call them companies. But where a vast majority of them were down for I don't know, a day, maybe not quite a day. Cell phones going in and out. My cell phone just, granted, I don't like replacing my cell phone because I don't want to take the time to relearn another cell phone because they're so, it's time consuming, and I don't want to spend the time doing it. So I hold on
Yeah.
to them until they absolutely just give up on me. So, but that said, it's my phone has functions that sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And it usually lines up with the Schumann resonance, the solar flares, or whatever else is going on in the atmosphere. Cell phones, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they work by connecting with satellites?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
So if that's the case and there's geomagnetic storms going on, then there's interference between us and the satellites. That kind of makes sense.
Of course. Yeah. That's interesting. So you've just confessed to the world that you're a technological dinosaur.
I am.
You've took one for the team with that. Well done.
I'm not proud of it, but
can I just ask, where do you put the coal in your phone?
Yeah, right. Oh, come on, I'm not that bad. Oh, I love that laugh. That's awesome.
Don't, you'll set me off. Okay. Excuse me, I told you set me off. So, with solar storms, I'm no expert with that, but other than I know what I feel, and when I feel something, I generally trust that. I do question it, like other sensitives, like yourself there. But when you've explored every avenue, it can't be this, it can't be that, it can't be that, then why not go into this avenue of solar storms causing it, in the planet? causing
Right.
some sort of change. Certainly worth exploring.
Right.
So talking about
I would think it
energy.
would have to. I mean, yeah,
So
I'm
talking
listening.
about energy, let's have a little chat about the Ascension upgrades and
Oh
what's
my
been
goodness.
happening. What's been happening? It's a very weird time,
Yeah,
isn't it, at the moment?
it's crazy.
So I mean,
It
Ascension
is.
upgrades. It is. I liken it to like your phone. Like, well, you won't know because you probably don't do it. But like your phone, it needs every now and again. It needs an upgrade for it to work
Oh,
efficiently at high
yes.
speeds and to get that signal correctly,
Yeah.
sent and received from it. And so I would liken it to that, but with obviously everything and everyone in the planet there. We all need an upgrade. We all need to align with the vibrations of the planet and the universe as it continues to expand. And so every now and again, we have to face this process of, we spoke about it, in fact, a few weeks ago about letting go, didn't we? Letting go of the old
Yeah.
emotions and going through that.
Right. And we just talked about that on another show we were both recently on.
Yes, that's right.
We
Yeah.
talked about the 3D to the 5D. And there's so much of it that's, I don't know about you, but some days I just feel like I'm crazy. Like the energies are just super high and then they'll level off and then it's like, oh man, I need a nap. I don't know
Mm,
about you, but I have just been experiencing those up and down kind of frequencies as everything is leveling out. And um, the ascension upgrades are, I feel like we are getting them in increments as we can handle them,
yeah.
physically and mentally, emotionally, whatever. Because when those upgrades come and they shift, it shifts everything. It shifts the way you think about things. It shifts the way you feel about things. It shifts your body. It shifts everything. And some days, I don't know about you, but some days I just feel like I'm walking through an earthquake. Like it just feels like everything is shifting and changing so much and so consistently and so quickly. I don't know if you experienced that, but it's almost like I'm just not even steady on my feet. It's
Yeah.
weird.
I get where you're coming from. I mean, my barometer, if you like, is to walk into the center of my town. And usually it's relatively busy with shoppers and people visiting the town. And I normally get a feel for what's going on from that because when I've observed people, they're behaving like in a very unusual way, almost zombie like, if for a better term, and to
Yes.
the point where
Yes.
people are, I think you would call it jaywalking, that they're not paying attention and just like walking across the road with, they don't care if something is hitting them or not. They're just walking across and walking in front of cars. And there seems to be a lot of nobody has patience anymore. When I've observed it, people are reacting rather than being, if you know what I mean. And so when I see it
Hmm.
in the community there, to me, this is like, okay, these, no disrespect to people, but these people are obviously going through a change. They're not aware of what's happening. They're not processing it. They're not dealing with the hurts. Those hurts are coming up and they're reacting those hurts. They're playing them out rather than processing them.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what I've observed. And I just noticed how I'm obviously behaving and how I hold myself energetically. And then this is where you see that distinctive, as we said in a different show, split in vibration. The way that we perceive things is slightly different to the general population, which is no disrespect to everybody. It's just that we're all on different levels. We're all processing things and we're moving forward and expanding at our own rate in relation to our timeline, aren't we? So that's the way that I
Right.
gauge these changes, just observing.
Just get around other people and observe. And yeah, I haven't heard the phrase in a while, but group that I belong to, we were talking about um, how some people just, it's almost like they're robots. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
started calling them NPCs, the
Oh, I've heard
non-player
that too.
characters
Yeah.
in video games, where they just kind of, they go through the motions, but they don't really seem connected to anything. And they know about the same 10 or 12 phrases, but they don't say anything else. And it has just, I'm seeing a resurgence lately of NPCs in people and in society where, it's, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, what are they? Like, are they people? Are they plants? I mean, have they been planted here for some reason? Are they robots? What are they? And it's
Mm.
just really interesting that um, some people notice them and other people don't, and some people are them and don't know they are. Maybe. I mean, I was in a convenience store, gas station. I don't know what you call them there, but here we call them gas stations. And the two young men behind, who were clerks at this
Yeah.
gas station, as I walked up my turn, the person before me is who they were referring to. And one of these young men said to the other one, there was nobody in that human suit. Like, that's the way he said it. There was
Wow.
nobody in that human suit. Like, that was a blank. And I just walked up like, that's an NPC. And they both turned around and went, yes, that's it. That's an NPC. And so, yeah, it's even people who, I mean, I don't know these two young men. I've never seen them again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't probably recognize them if I did. But it was just really interesting that they noticed it, because I don't normally hear people outside of my own circle talking about it. So, yeah, that was interesting.
Certainly is. It kind of reminds me of the film called The Truman Show. Don't know if you ever
Yes.
saw that,
I
where they
did.
had a background actors, didn't they, just to fill the set and make it look real and authentic. So, like
Yeah.
you've just suggested, I wonder if that is the case, that because I've heard many people talk about that what we're experiencing and we believe to be our reality isn't the pure reality. It is almost a copy to be made to look like the true authentic one. But the copy is more controllable, more manageable by, shall we say, energy beings. Certain members of society can manipulate it to their own agendas, shall we say. And so
Right.
with saying that, some of these background people are like we're saying, filling the set, making it look believable, maybe pushing a certain narrative, even though that they're not literally doing anything, but it's putting that belief in our perception, isn't it? It's manipulating and changing our perception on some level. Wow, we're going deep today. I didn't expect to be saying that.
Yeah. As you're speaking, I'm thinking I should probably go make a tinfoil hat.
Yes, me too.
Black out those wave rays.
Hide under a table.
Yeah, that was
that will save you.
something. Make it a metal table. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, like we did them when we were in school. I don't know if you had those, but
Duck and
we had
cover.
those drills where we had to climb under our desks. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing the films.
Yes,
We never did it.
definitely.
We just had to go outside and line up
Yeah.
in a queue. Typically English, in a queue outside the school.
Yes, in a queue. Well, I also grew up, in the tornado area, so we would do tornado drills where we would go sit in the long hallways of the building, the interior hallways, and put our hands over our heads. And I'm like, really? That's going to save me? If a tornado comes, it comes. There's nothing we're going to do to stop it.
Surely sitting like that for periods of time can give you arthritis.
Probably. Although if the building was falling down around me, I would probably have been have less attitude about it. Anyway, we have one more topic. Do we have time to cover it?
We've got a little bit of time. We can skirt through it. So I'll let you
Okay.
take the helm with this one.
All right. So we have angelic downloads, which is interesting. I get downloads. I've been downloading like crazy lately. I just call them universal downloads. Do you distinguish between those two, angelic and universal?
Uh, for me, angelic and my guides, I get downloads or packets of information from my guides as well. So yeah, I do really, to answer your question. And the reason why I know is usually it's my left ear. I will get this thrilling, shrieking sound that's almost inaudible that kind of cuts through your entire head and your brain. And it feels like brain ache, like,
Yes.
when you've had an ice cream or something like that, brain freeze. It's like that. You can't
Yeah.
think and you have to close your eyes. So for me, that would be from the angelic realm. And it probably lasts for around a minute at the longest point. Sometimes it can go over that, but that shrill frequency just fades out, and then you become more aware of your surroundings again. Now, for me, when I have a similar experience, but it's at a lower tone, not as high pitched as that, in my right ear, this would be my guides downloading and installing packets of information, whereas the angelic upgrades would affect my DNA and my core being. From my guides, it would be information being installed that I may need to work with a client or whatever job I'm working on at the time. And that doesn't last as long, but however, it can still be quite painful, like a dull ache sensation. So that's the way I differentiate between the two. What about yourself,
Differentiate.
Kristina?
Okay. Yeah, I guess I hadn't used the word angelic, but spirit downloads, I don't know. I don't think I ever just discerned what it was. But yes, I do have those two different types of downloads.
Okay.
The ones with the high pitched squeal, yeah, those don't last as long, but they are a little painful. I guess that what you call them angelic, that makes sense to me because the angelic realm has a very high frequency. So I'm never really sure what those are about. I'm never really sure what that information is for, or even if I'm ever going to access that information. I do have the kind that you talked about with your guides.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will get some information ahead of time. Other times it's almost like running a computer program in the background, where you're uploading a program, but you're doing something else on the same computer. And for me, that's what a lot of downloads are like. I don't get the information right away. It comes out when it's needed.
Yeah.
So that's more of a download. I have had in the past, it was crazy. I actually ended up going to a doctor to try to figure out what was wrong with me because I kept falling asleep and I kept feeling like I couldn't focus. My eyes wouldn't focus. I couldn't,
Yeah.
like, am I having a stroke? What's happening here? And they couldn't find anything wrong with me, but it lasted for 11 days.
Wow.
And yeah, and I slept a lot of as much as I could. And obviously you can't just shut down life. At least most of us can't just shut down life for 11 days. And I certainly couldn't. But at the end of it, I started writing and a book came out of it. It was like the whole thing was downloaded to me at once
Wow.
and then it came out. So it was a healing program that is still sitting there, not being used, but it's accessible to me. It's all printed out. I mean, it's all been put into documents in book form. I never published it, but I could publish it.
I suppose
It's
you
ready
will
to
get
go.
the feeling when the time is right to do that, won't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the time has not felt right yet, but when it's time, it will.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, downloads come in differently based on what's needed.
Yeah.
If I have a big event like a wellness fair or whatever coming up over the weekend, for a few days, I'll get random downloads. And then whoever that information is for, it will be given to them at that time.
Wow. That's beautiful. Saves you
Yeah,
carrying it around, doesn't it? For long periods of time as well. And I'm sure once you've given that information, you feel lighter energetically, emotionally,
right.
that clear vessel again to
Right.
receive
But I
more.
don't know what the information is until it's given to the person who needs
Yeah.
it. It's just kind of in a folder in the back of my head or something. I don't know. In the rear of my consciousness, I don't know. But whoever needs it, it comes up for. And then I'm sitting there like an observer of the whole thing. And I have a feeling you've done this too, where the information comes out and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, well, that was profound. I can't believe that came out of my mouth.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Well, Kristina, we are coming to the end, unfortunately, but I would like to thank you again for your wisdom, your knowledge, your patience with me as well.
Likewise.
And can I invite you to share how people can contact you for either a reading, a session with you, or how they can find you?
Yes, absolutely. My words just popped out of my head. KristinaBloom.com, my website. It's a HTTPS website. So you can go in there. There is a form in there that you can fill out to request an appointment time. Also, my calendar is in there that has the events that I am participating in, around North America at this point, but I expect that to expand. But that calendar is in there. You can also contact me on Facebook at Kristina Bloom, Your Spiritual Advisor. It's a group, or Kristina Bloom Spiritual Advisor, which is my business page. You can catch me either where there. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn. I don't know. I lost track of all the places I'm listed.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Kristina. So if anybody's interested, please do hit Kristina up and get in contact. Kristina, has been absolutely tremendous to finalize The Unexplained Part 2, and now we can move on into other realms, can't we? So thank you for your wisdom and your knowledge, and I look forward to catching up with you very, very soon for our next episode.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, as ever, it was incredible there to connect with Kristina Bloom. Always is. And it's crazy how we sort of blend our vibrations together and we come up with these topics. Well, I say it's crazy, but spirit influences both. And before we do a show, we're there actually coming up with ideas, asking our guides. So it's very much spirit-led, as it always has been, this show. And with Kristina's influence as well and her guides, it's just added to the mix, and we've managed to go a little bit deeper with the subjects that we cover together. And it's lovely to have our combined wisdoms actually vibe off one another. So for you as a listener, I hope it resonates with you and gives you that bigger perspective in terms of these topics and subjects that we do cover. If you do have any questions you would like to ask us and you're looking for answers, or we could tap into spirit and channel through, some answers for you, then please do get in touch with the show. It would be fascinating to work with you in that level and help you maybe have a new degree of understanding of whatever question you want to pose to us. So in a moment, we're going to move into the next segment of the show, which is this week's forecast reading, which is going to hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. Now, if you do feel compelled to either grab a pen and paper, take some notes there, or bullet points, so that you're one step ahead of this week unfolding for you, then please do feel free to do that. In the meantime, sit back, enjoy, relax, and enjoy this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 26th of August 2024. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also link in with the angel tarot card. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. Okay, so here's your card for this week's forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the energy and bring forward some information for you. First of all, what I'm feeling is change is afoot this week. And I don't feel as though a lot of these changes are being anticipated by yourself. I do feel as though the universe is bringing these things in order for you not to hold that resistance towards these changes, if you understand my meaning. I also sense that these changes are very positive in the grand scheme of things, and in actual fact, they're going to serve your highest good. I feel as though what I'm talking about here is I feel changes in connection with finances and also friendships and relationships as well. I'm also sensing a lot of tension around my neck and shoulders at this moment in time. So I do feel as though that you will be carrying elements of stress around with you this week, and it's an opportunity for you to release it. And you can do that by simply allowing that energy to flow through you rather than resisting these changes and this intensity of vibration there. I've also got to tell you that this week you'll feel that inclination to get out and about a little bit more, maybe sightseeing or having a change of scenery in some way, shape or form. This will be just the tonic that you need to spritz up your vibration and give you that greater perspective of where you're at in your life at this moment in time. I also feel as though there's going to be some unexpected connections that are coming in, and I feel as though this is people coming in with interactions, also sharing their thoughts about you and how much they appreciate you and are grateful for the connection that you have. I don't feel as though a lot of you will anticipate this coming into your life. However, it's going to be a beautiful surprise, and it's going to be the tonic and the energy that you need to catapult you forward throughout the course of this week. I'm also being told confidence. And I see that towards Thursday of this week, you'll be feeling that level of self-pride and confidence coming up to the surface, where you have that confidence in you as a person, your abilities, and what you can add to the party, so to speak. However, I don't feel as though there will be any inclination towards egotistical confidence. And what I mean by that is you self-celebrating yourself to such a level that it becomes uncomfortable for other people to be in your vibration. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about that pure, honest, beautiful worthiness of confidence will be coming in. I'm also experiencing a little bit of blurry vision in my eye. So I do feel as though this week will see you actually needing to refocus and recalibrate where you're at in your life, because I feel as though you've become unstuck over these last couple of weeks in particular, because the energies have been higgledy-piggledy all over the place. And I have been aware that you've been getting head pressure, headaches, head pains, feeling lethargic, feeling tired. So I do feel that this week is going to be a grand leveler where there's going to be a lot of truths coming to the surface. I do sense there's, like I say, communications coming in that are going to be coming from a surprise source there, but it's going to be a beautiful connection. So let's turn over the card and see what the card has to say for you. Okay, so let's read the inscription to start with, shall we? The card says, passionate, confident, charismatic, restless, events requiring immediate action, trust your instincts, stay focused, a passionate relationship. Well, that kind of encapsulates what Spirit was just saying about the confidence and also changes coming in unexpectedly, and this celebration of you as well from an unexpected source. So that would go in a line, like I say, what Spirit have said. So let's have a look around the edge of the card. We have the letters KN. To me, that represents knowledge. And I feel as though you need to go within yourself and tap into the resources that you already have. You don't need to go and research anything online. You need to just trust into the feelings. You already have the knowledge, the wisdom. It's a case of tapping into that and trusting and having that confidence with your gut instincts and your feelings. This will lead you throughout the course of this week to the next step on your chapter within your life. So trust the process. We have at the side here, we have the symbolism of a flame there. To me, that represents fire, obviously, represents passion, new beginnings, healing, light. And it's telling you to actually, you are the light, and you need to take ownership of wherever you happen to go and the people that you interact with. You impart a beautiful element of yourself into that environment and with those people. You don't even realize that you're doing it, to the point where it's just normal to you. However, people and places feel the benefit of your interaction and your involvement. So do watch out and observe the way that people behave around you, and also the environments that you happen to be in will change dramatically as a result of you being there in your beautiful vibration. So also looking into the artwork and around the edge, particularly of this card, we've got the colour of orange moving into a red there. So to me, the orange is representing you looking after yourself, both with your physical diet and also with exercise and getting those muscles flexed or stretched. Also looking after the diet, the food that you're consuming there. You will feel a tendency to eat more sweet foods this week. It's just what your body is craving. I'm being told a little bit of what you fancy won't do you no good, but won't do you no harm, should I say, but it's knowing when to stop, when to set those boundaries. So just watch out if you're having a sweet tooth this week. Also, the orange represents the sacral chakra, which is talking about energy, the peaks and troughs in energy within you this week. When you do feel overstressed, when you do feel tired and lethargic, rather than pushing on, you are being encouraged to stop and have some moments to yourself. Recalibrate, get your vibrations back, because the more that you push and strive forward, the less that you will achieve, because you'll be getting things wrong. You will be experiencing frustration because your heart and your presence is not in whatever activities you're focusing in on. So do take that time out when you feel the inclination to do so. The red is indicating time for you to actually stop, pause, reflect, and take a good look at where you're at the moment. Also, it's requiring you to ground your energies, because you have been in your head for quite a number of weeks now, where you've been tying yourself up in knots, trying to work out your life and how it's going to flow and which way it's going, and shall I choose this? All of these crazy thoughts have been going around your head. It's time to stop, ground, anchor your energy, be present, and then you will connect in with your truth, your intuition, and that will guide you stepping forward. So looking into the artwork of the card, we've got this feminine energy that's riding on a horseback there. Feminine energy is talking about you actually being more sensitive, being more receptive of opportunities coming your way this week. The fact that she's riding on a horse there, that would indicate a sense of freedom there. So this week you will be more aware of your freedom, and actually that you're creating your own timeline there. So once you come to that realization, you'll start to utilize your emotions and your mentality a lot more. Okay, we have a desert scene there as well. This would indicate that although things do seem pretty empty in your life, actually behind the scenes there's a lot happening, and actually you're making ground. So have confidence and faith in your abilities this week. So that's what I'm picking up for you this week. I hope that resonates with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed this reading and you would like to help and support the work that I do, I have got a buy me a coffee link either above or below this video, which is a virtual tip jar. So all of your generous donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do. If you would like any of my services, a private reading or anything like that, please contact me at my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, and bring your inquiries there. Look out for me every Monday with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help. A fantastic week, everybody. Bye for now.
Well, again, it sounds like we're all set for a fascinating week ahead. And maybe if we can learn anything from this week, is to have that level of faith and confidence in ourselves and who we are as an individual. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode and the content that has been influenced and brought in by the world of spirit, and also Kristina Bloom's knowledge there as well. Like I say, if you have any questions you'd like to pose to the show or to myself or Kristina, please do get in contact by heading over to www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. And as ever, it would be fascinating to hear from you and your opinion on the show and the content that is brought forward. So in the meantime, have a fantastic week, everybody, and I look forward to your company next Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on pulsetalkradio.com. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium